our special guest this morning is Yasmin Dale. Now, Yasmin, today you're going to be talking about 4 ways as to how people can win that job and allow them to stand up and stand out in the job market. Firstly, preparation, job search 101. Secondly, passion. Thirdly, people, i.e. networking. And the last point, fourthly, persistence. So if we look at your first point, preparation, job search 101, so can you give us some examples about what you would term as your ideal client?
Well, I think what is really important is that when an individual is in fact starting the process of looking for a new role, it's so important to be prepared and to approach the job search not sporadically, but to be as organised as possible. So registering with job boards, and more importantly, if you are applying for numerous roles, to actually compose even an Excel spreadsheet to be able to be aware of what roles you're applying for. Nothing worse when you actually phone someone up and they've got no idea what role they've applied for and in fact who you are. Second to that, I think what also is really important for candidates when they are in the process of looking for a role, it's so essential to basically be researching the companies prior to interview. When you are actually going out for interview, the preparation here is make sure that you're aware of the location. Nothing worse than running late for an interview, not knowing where you're going. Also, I think it's important under this preparation point number 1 to be organised as well with the simple things like making sure that your clothing's organised before the interview. Arriving on time goes without saying, and also for individuals to know their resume, to know their history, to know where they've worked, what they've done. I've had numerous scenarios in the past when I've interviewed people and they've had no idea of the dates of where they've worked, who they've worked for, and it just doesn't come across as them being very organised and I guess proactive with where they're at.
The second point we've picked up is on passion. Passion is be enthusiastic about your next move and why you are moving, as well as why you are a good fit. So I'd just like to ask the question if you've seen any candidates demonstrate passion and how they were able to articulate that they were a good fit for the company they were moving towards.
I've actually had a candidate contact me about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Her name was Kelly. And Kelly contacted me, and within the first few minutes she just bowled me over with her passion and her enthusiasm. Now, Kelly had actually no experience within the field that I recruit within, but she demonstrated to me on the phone within just 2 minutes why she wanted to be potentially considered for the role that she saw advertised. And what she articulated to me was the fact that she was really interested in working in recruitment. She had a very strong and long history working within sales. It was an area that she'd been wanting to be involved in for a number of years, and effectively sold me over the phone. And why she sold me is because she was really enthusiastic. She demonstrated that with, I guess, coming across with the effective pitch to me. Effectively, I haven't yet had the chance of placing her, but I'm certainly keeping in constant contact with her, and hopefully, we will be able to place her in the following weeks. But I think it's important for all of the listeners out there that if you are serious about making a move, that you need to be enthusiastic about reasons why you are wanting to make the move, and more importantly, to be passionate about that certain industry that you're interested, whether you're remaining in the same industry or whether you're transitioning into something new. I've also come across individuals in the past, in the last 9 years who I've been working in recruitment, they just haven't, I guess, sold me. They've been bland, they've been dry, they haven't really come across as, look, I'm the star candidate. These are the reasons being, I'm enthusiastic, I'm driven, I'm just right for this role. So I think it's really important that if people are wanting to find a new job, that they've got to remain passionate, and they've got to be able to demonstrate that with the reasons why they're looking to make the move and why they should be considered for the potential role.
Some of the feedback that I've had from both recruiters and employers is one of the ways that candidates can demonstrate their enthusiasm is through doing extensive research on their organisation, so that if they're asked the question, what is it that prompted you to apply for this role, if through that or their response or their example can demonstrate some of the cutting-edge things the organisation is working towards or some of the projects, and in their response demonstrate the enthusiasm that they'd love to get on board and support that movement or that particular project, that in itself can really demonstrate enthusiasm as well. Would you agree with that, Yasmin?
Absolutely. I agree with everything that you said, Annemarie, and I've just seen it so many times where an individual has gotten a role over a more experienced candidate because they've demonstrated to the interviewers at the time that they were the right fit, because they were driven, they were enthusiastic, and they sold themselves based on having that right attitude. So I think that if an individual is out there looking for a new role and perhaps they're thinking, I just don't have the right experience, I'm a couple of years less, but, I certainly am driven and I'm motivated and I'm just excited about, partaking in this particular role, well, just honestly, they've got to maintain that, because believe you me, it will really demonstrate and show that when they are being interviewed, that will stand out.
Now, the next point, people networking. You love face-to-face networking. So can you explain how networking can make a difference, a real difference in your job search?
Absolutely. I love networking. I think, Annemarie and Keith, it's just an excuse to socialise, because networking, from my perspective, it's the ability to have that one-on-one time. And although I can appreciate that nowadays we're all used to online, utilising the likes of Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, but I'm a traditionalist, and I appreciate that when it comes to networking, the ability to make an impression, be remembered, and just have that one-on-one time, and that 1 or 2 minutes that you may spend with potential employer is so valuable. And I'm a regular networker, and in fact I will attend 2 or 3 networking sessions a month, and that can be through a variety of different mediums, whether it's an industry event. I'm part of the RCSA, which is the recruitment body for Australia, and quite often they have a monthly breakfast seminar. It's a fabulous chance to be able to be seen, be heard, and more importantly, to network with like-minded individuals, as well as going to other events that may not be related to your industry, because let's face it, it's about who you know, not what you know, that quite often can get you over the line. So I'm just an absolute fan of face-to-face networking.
One of the more important concepts is persistence, sticking at it, yes? I want you to, if you can, I want you to maybe talk about some success stories of when you've seen people stick at it.
So easy just to throw the towel in and say, well, that's it. I've had enough. And getting told no and dealing with that rejection is very difficult, both on a personal and a professional level. So it's important that individuals remain positive. You've got to just remain positive. I have this quote, PMA, positive mental attitude all the way. And there's been stories where I've had a candidate, after candidate, that I've had to ring up and say, look, I'm really sorry, Ed. Unfortunately, the interviewer will not be moving forward in the job process. And I've had a few scenarios where individuals have, basically said, well, that's it. I'm not going to look for a role. I've had enough. But I've had other individuals that have had knockback after knockback after knockback, and especially now with the downturn that we're in. Generally, you may get 10 knockdowns and knockbacks before you get big yes. We want you on board. So I think it's important that people really, stick with it. And I guess having to deal with that rejection, it's just like, okay, next. I was fortunate enough to watch the last year, the 2008 Melbourne Open with Leighton Hewitt in the semi-finals. It was an extraordinary match. It lasted 6 hours. Started at 11 o'clock at night, and I think it finished at some sort of astounding hour of 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Leighton wouldn't give up. He just wouldn't give up. He was so persistent. He eventually won the match, and it was very close, and he just won it. But that is an example of not giving up and just remaining persistent and remaining positive and just, through that adversity, I guess, clinching. So I think it's important for individuals just to remain focused and effectively just keep going.